our little Zooligans. I'm Donna.
And I am Rob. Hello, Zooligans.
And together we own and run Get to Know Animals, which is an exotic animal sanctuary based in Epping and Essex. So the core of our heart and soul is saving animals, and that is what we live and breathe every single day. But along the way we do help and work with thousands and thousands of people every single day as well. One of the things we specialise in is animal assisted therapy. Now, we get asked very regularly, a few times a week, Rob, at least about people who ask us for a job because they have been recommended it or they feel like it would help them with any mental health or other health struggles, which is a really, really interesting point because, as we know, animals can comfort you and do comfort you in a way that a human never ever could. So being around animals is one of the most it's a tonic for the soul that you could ever have. However, working with animals can and it is the polar opposite.
It's not a tonic.
It's not a tonic. It can actually be not a poison, but if you're
very strong gin.
A very strong gin.
Very strong
well, at least
gin.
a very strong gin's needed at the end of the day. At least it is a wonderful thing, and it carries an incredible sense of job satisfaction. However, it is not for the faint-hearted. Now, I am a good candidate to talk about this because I have a lot of health issues that I've struggled with all my life. Very severe depression, fibromyalgia, which is physically crippling. I'm also a severe diabetic, and I have definitely seen both sides of the coin. But Rob's got some very interesting points that he wanted to talk about today. So, Rob, what were you thinking?
So it's sort of come about from, as you said, like the questions that we got, and the question I've come to is sort of working with animals as therapy or animal therapy, and what's right for you. And as I say, we get approached every week by individuals who want to volunteer some of their time to work with animals, and they believe that the calming nature of animals, as you said, that we provide sanctuary for, will help them cope and manage with various issues, both physical and mental, that they're facing. And in many cases, they've been pointed in our direction by members of the medical profession. So if you're in the medical profession, listen up, because hopefully this will help you.
Add some clarity.
Yeah, as to what the difference is, because I think it's a little bit misaligned at times.
And there is a huge difference.
Yeah, there is, and we will touch on that. But before we do that, like let's clarify. Firstly, what therapy is and what a therapy session of any sort is trying to achieve, right? And the dictionary definition of therapy is a treatment that helps someone feel better, grow stronger, especially after an illness. All right? Okay, so that could be, anything, right? And needless to say that while not every, or indeed many therapy sessions in many cases will result in a cure for an illness, they are an important part of a process in helping people to deal with, manage, or overcome issues that the therapy sessions themselves are looking to address. And therapy sessions can take a variety of formats. When we think of therapy for sort of mental health reasons, they can often be one-to-one sessions, or they could be for couples about relationship therapy, or families or groups that they might involve conversation, or physical purposes, it's activities or exercises. So in my mind, it sort of goes without saying that any session needs to be tailored to the specific issue, right? That any one person's dealing with. And if we consider what physical therapy would entail for someone with a broken leg, right, it's pretty straightforward. It would be based on rebuilding the muscle mass, increasing flexibility, and ensuring that the leg ultimately is strong enough to cope with the rigours of daily life, right? And this would more than likely involve a number of sessions where you would hope the intensity would gradually increase, ensuring that over time that broken leg is once again fully functioning, and it's safe to say, that you'll be back to full use. But what you wouldn't do is stick someone with a broken leg on a training regime intended for an Olympic triple jumper, right? That's a sure way to hop, skip, and jump your way back into A&E. If you excuse the terrible pun, but it's what sprung to mind. And the second thing I'd like to clarify is exactly what working with animals entails, and there's a few words that spring to mind, and that's poo, pain, illness, and death.
That is basically what it does entail, unfortunately, and they are all very difficult things to deal with.
Some more than others.
Some a lot more than others. Poo, I'm not so bothered, if I'm honest, anymore. But
no. Poo is it's not so bad, but there's a lot of it.
You like a good poo party in a snake enclosure.
Well, I've been known to frequent a poo party or two in my time.
And
that's a different podcast.
And pain, it honestly just goes with the job. Like, you just need to know you are going to get bitten, you are going to get scratched, and it is going to hurt.
Yep.
And then, unfortunately,
illness. I mean, just like us humans, animals will get sick, and as all living beings do, they stop living. Unfortunately, at some point, even human beings. We've yet to conquer to death, have we?
No, and I have to. I know I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm probably going to say what a lot of people are thinking. And a lot of the time, when your animals die, it can be harder to deal with than when a person dies.
And I think that is massively relevant to what we're saying to people about coming into this environment.
It is, because most of the animals, unless you're a parrot or a tortoise, you don't have the same lifespans as humans. We are always going to outlive them. And one of my biggest sayings in here is that I know I don't mean to be pessimistic, we're just trying to keep it real here, but I know that every single animal that comes through our door, every single one is going to break our heart one day. And the reason we're reiterating that now is because we are talking about people's mental health journeys. And if you're it's hard enough to deal with at the best of times, but if you are in a particularly vulnerable point in your life, that's can really set you back. Which is what you were just saying about doing overexerting a leg injury. It's going to set you back.
Absolutely. And so and if what we're saying here is that these animals that we have, and animals in any animal in captivity, relies on the people around them to feed, clean, and care for them. And any person who works with animals will tell you what a big responsibility that is.
That is huge.
Right, and what a lot of pressure that can cause. Well, it doesn't cause it. It is pressure.
I literally feel like I live in a pressure cooker every day.
Okay, and pressure can cause anxiety and stress and sadness. So, and that's one part of it. But it's not just mentally demanding. It's often physically demanding. Well, it's not often. It is every day. Is physically demanding. It's laborious work, and unless you're prepared to skimp on standards, which we're certainly not.
Well, it's not even about skimping on standards. I am a good person to talk about this because obviously I suffer with the fibromyalgia, which gives me intense physical pain every day and lethargy that I can't even explain. And I cannot mentally. I love doing all the feeds. I love doing the cleaning. I really enjoy it, but I physically cannot do it. I cannot pick up and carry a 20-kilo bag of bedding. I cannot crouch down and clean out an animal enclosure. I physically cannot do it. And if I try, what am I like? I'm bedridden for days.
Well, and I think that's sort of a big part of what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of the people that are referred to us to help them with some form of sort of mental therapy are often physically, restricted in many ways.
Well, because your physical and your mental health are completely connected.
Intrinsically linked, right? Yeah, healthy body, healthy mind. We've all heard it.
And it is true.
So, let's take that forward. Let's take someone suffering with depression and anxiety, and let's say that their physical health isn't the best. I know, let's put them in an environment full of animals that are going to get sick if you can't do what you need to do to look after them. And you're going to be responsible for looking after them, and they're going to sit in their own poo if you can't clear it up. That's not going to help.
So what you're saying is taking someone with physical and mental weaknesses, challenges, not weaknesses, because they make us our strengths in the end. Physical and mental challenges, and put them in the most physically and mentally demanding situation you could think of.
I wouldn't do it, in my opinion.
Bad idea.
It's actually working with animals for many people would be like a metaphorical hop, skip, and a jump back into hospital.
I'm seriously questioning my life choices here, Rob.
No, you should. I'm questioning why you brought me along for this ride. But, so...
It's called glutton for punishment.
Is that, going to help you achieve what a therapy session is setting out to do?
No, it's exactly the opposite of what a therapy session should do.
It's a little bit like one of those alternative sessions where you're just going to shout at someone and tell them all of their defects until they break and rebuild themselves, which isn't what anyone's looking to do.
No, and the reason you're saying that, just to clarify, I think what you just said is true, because the point is, when you're feeling at your lowest, you need to be in a positive place where you feel good about what you're doing, where you can actually focus on doing things that you do well and it's uplifting. If you are then trying to do a job that, because from no fault of your own, is completely out of your physical or mental realm at the time, it is going to make you feel like a failure. It's going to make you feel bad about yourself. It's going to deepen your depression and make you feel awful. And that is not what therapy should do.
It's like asking a Dalek to walk upstairs.
Or a fish to walk on the road.
It's bound to fail, right? So no one needs to have a therapy session just to remind them about what their limitations are, right? You want to be built up gradually over time to be made to feel stronger and better, whether that's
like the broken leg,
whether it's your leg, whether it's your head, whatever it may be. There is no point being put into an environment that is ultimately going to cause you to go backwards on your journey, right? Having said all that, right, and I think this is where the differentiation needs to come, because there is light to all of this.
This is the clear differentiation, isn't it?
And I think what we talk about is like working with animals as opposed to animal-assisted interactions or therapy.
Which, again, couldn't be more different.
They have a profound effect on people, okay? And that is both mentally and physically, and I've witnessed it firsthand, okay? I've seen people with selective mutism find a voice and start talking. I've been at an old people's home, and quite frankly, it made me cry in a corner.
We talked about that last time.
Where she started using her hand again. So it does work, right? I've seen clinically depressed people. I've had emails from their parents saying, "My God, Rob, the difference in my kid since coming in and spending some time with the animals."
Well, when we go to a lot of the mental health institutions that we do, or even just general public
people who are having a bad day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Even people who popped in on their lunch break to cheer themselves up.
Animals offer you a level of comfort and solace that human beings can't do, because no one's ever been judged by a rabbit, and no one ever feels that a guinea pig is judging you or thinking of you in a certain way, no matter what you've done.
Apart from Madam Scruffles, she's definitely judging.
Yeah, Madam Scruffles will judge you, so just watch out for that. But, and again, and where I've said, I feel like I've tried to put a lot of people off it. I'm not. I want people to think about where you are, or your medical professional should be thinking about where you are on your journey, okay? And that sounds very Tony Robbins-esque, and you might hear me roar later on. But depending upon where you are, working with animals in some capacity could be great if you're physically able. And you know what? Then picking up bags of rabbit poo and cleaning out snake ponds that are full of poo, and knowing that you've helped that animal continue to live a healthy, clean life can be incredibly rewarding. But if you're not at that point where you can do it, don't put yourself or let yourself be put in that.
Because you're setting yourself up to fall.
You're setting yourself up to fall, exactly that. So, and again, we've got people, I've worked with people who I've seen come on leaps and bounds.
But I
leaps
do,
and bounds.
and I can say this. I mean, we've got, obviously there's a lot, we have loads of, we have volunteers. We've got a brilliant team of staff that work with us, and they do all the sort of physical stuff that I just, I did it for years. I just can't do it anymore. So, we have got the staff that the animal carers, the rangers that do all that stuff. But, when I'm at my absolute lowest, I will, sit with
the monkeys.
With the monkeys, or do you know what? I love the carp fish.
Yeah.
I go, fishies, and then they all come up and go, and then I just, I can pet them, and I'm not being funny, Rob. I cannot live without the dogs. I cannot sleep without a dog.
But what is that? That's an animal interaction, right?
That's an animal interaction.
You're not caring for that fish. Of course, you care for the fish, but you're not.
But if I was
caring for it, you're not ensuring that it's food
standing
and
there with the fish, and they make me feel amazing, and I love them, and I'm interacting with them. That cheers me up like nothing else. If I was then to try and start cleaning out the carp pond, I would be broken physically and then mentally go down a massive hole because I would feel useless.
Well, you start doubting, oh God, I can't do this.
It's such a simple thing, doing a walk, I can't even do that. What good am I doing? And it does, you start spiralling.
And that, I think, is the big thing. Like, and again, we're always happy to talk to people. I've spoken to, people have come into the zoo. I actually spoke to one of their carers once and said, please give me the name of the doctor and I'll phone them and speak to them. Because, if you're listening to this as a medical professional referring people for animal therapy as you perceive animal therapy to be coming into an environment and working with animals, please appreciate that it isn't.
It's not therapy, it is work.
It's also really difficult for us to try and sort of say no to these people.
Yeah, because you've then got to let them down and they've got all their hopes pinned on it.
And you're sort of saying, well, can you do this and can you do that? And
we had a poor lady who's obviously very physically disabled, and we were like, well,
my doctor's told me I should be working with animals, and it's okay.
Well, can you pick that bag of food up? And she's like, no. Well, I'm like, well, I don't know how.
However,
the animal therapy, assisted therapy, would be perfect for her.
And what did she go and do? She went and sat with a rabbit for half an hour. She came and said,
I
feel brilliant.
Yeah.
She almost skipped out the door. So what I'm saying is...
Don't tell Universal Credit that.
So, again, if you're listening to this as a medical professional and referring people for therapy...
Know the difference.
Then perhaps this offers you some insight. Equally, if you're a person who's been referred to it and want to talk to us about what you could do, then get in touch. Talk to us. We're happy to talk to you. I might not be able to offer you everything that you have been promised or what you perceive it to be, but hopefully this...
We can definitely give a clearer insight.
Yeah, and you even just coming to... It might just be a case that, do you know what you need to do? You need to spend some time with... I was going to say Madam Scruffles, but she'll judge you. So.
No, but she's lovely.
No, she is. But
she'll only judge you on how good your cuddles are.
Yeah, sit with Dottie the rabbit and chill out for a bit. Or, whatever it is that... Even some people just come and sit and watch the parrots.
But this is the other point I just want to make. Working with animals, I'm not being funny, you hardly ever spend any time with animals. No. You don't. Honestly, when you work with animals, you might not ever be near an animal, because working with animals, 99% of the job is cleaning. Cleaning.
And when people say, you've got the best job in the world.
No, we have, because we're so blessed to be around the animals, and we're, we are... the satisfaction of just seeing their little faces, chowing down on their favourite food, or seeing them when you put them back into a clean bed, the satisfaction is amazing. But the actual job is hard, and you don't spend time with the animals, because while you're cleaning them out, guess what? They're having to put safely in a carrier and probably in a different room so that they're kept safe while you clean their enclosure out. And then once you put them back in, you don't sit and pet them. They're exploring their new enclosures and getting used and guess what? You've moved on to the next one. And then once you've cleaned all the enclosures, they've messed it up again and you've got to clean it again. And then the zoo needs cleaning. The glass is always a big moan of mine. There's a fingerprint on the glass. I've never noticed. And it goes on and on. And then the toilets and all the rest of it. And how much of your day have you actually spent with an animal? 20 minutes.
Exactly. I mean, yeah.
And it's just in passing. So, yeah, people know the difference between working with animals and then the incredible power that is animal-assisted therapy. And they are two totally separate things.
And that's not... It doesn't need to just be in places like this. Like, you know, if you look at equine therapy and the work it does for people in terms of building core strength and trust, and it's undeniable, right? It's out there, it's real. But like any therapy, as we said, you know, whether it's for a broken leg or a collapsed lung or synapses in your brain not firing properly, finding the right type of interaction and therapy session for you is massively important. Okay.
Yeah. And again, I think that's something we're really happy to give some advice on.
Yes. Or just listen to this podcast again.
Right, so talking about working with animals, our special guest today is Nathan, who has just joined us about a month ago. And Nathan is an ecologist and an ornithologist.
Hey, well done.
Yes, I said it, hooray. I always get that wrong. Notice I didn't say your surname because I definitely get that
it's
wrong.
Better to skip that part.
So, now we're going to have to say it. So your surname is Ofsthun.
Ofsthun, that's it.
Ofsthun.
That's it. Just say off and stun.
Off
you got
and stun. There we go. So Nathan Ofsthun has just joined GTKA about a month ago. We're really super excited to have Nathan on the team because he's got a very specific skill set, as Liam Neeson might say. And I'm going to introduce you now. Hello, Nathan.
Hi, Donna.
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Thanks for coming on. So it is really a pleasure having you. So who are you, Nathan Ofsthun?
Well, other than Nathan Ofsthun, who is an ecologist and an ornithologist.
And what do these mean? What is an ecologist? What's an ornithologist?
An ecologist might be more familiar because we hear about ecology. So generally somebody...
I'm thinking ecosystems.
That's it. Yeah. Who works with the system by large rather than just a specific animal or plant or landscape. So an ecologist does that work. That's what I studied at university. But then I went further to specialize in ornithology. Which is... Drum roll. It is the study of birds.
Aha, so you're the crazy bird guy.
That's who I am through and through.
Excellent.
People are always asking me, oh, so how did you get interested in birds?
Okay, so Nathan, how did you get interested in birds?
How did I get interested in birds? And my default answer is, well, I don't exactly know.
Aha.
It just happened.
It just happened.
My pictures I saw when I was a baby, I don't have conscious memory of this, but there was a stuffed duck in my crib when I was brought home.
I might be able to shed light on this.
Yes.
The first word you ever learn is D for duck.
I have not had that verified.
A for apple.
But 2 of my 4 kids, their first word
ornithology
was duck.
Oh.
Before mama and dada.
Really?
2 of my boys, my 3rd and my 4th,
wow,
said duck. And it wasn't just like
it was duck.
Well, it wasn't just like they made up a word. They were looking at our pet ducks.
Oh, wow.
Benjamin and then Micah both looked, pointed, and said duck.
Oh,
and
that's
my
quite cute.
now 5-year-old son Benjamin, he learned 2 words for about 8 months. It was only duck and dada. That's all he said for about 8 months, and I'm okay with it. I'm
sure you're incredibly proud.
I'm
and
okay
probably
with
one of your greatest achievements.
My greatest life accomplishment. Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you, Benjamin.
So we're just talking about passions and stuff, and your passion obviously is birds and specifically ducks.
I love ducks,
as you said.
yeah.
And what is it about a duck that's just so amazing?
Well, they're ducks.
They are.
What more can you say?
End the conversation. They are.
Ducks.
They're just ducks, and
Ducks
they are incredible.
They're incredible birds, but also I think I'm not unique in liking ducks because ducks are a little bit larger as far as birds go.
Yeah.
And because they are so tied to water, it's much easier to see them.
Yeah.
Because there's not leaves and branches obscuring our view. And we often go to the city park, and we see, what do we see most commonly? We see the ducks and the geese.
Yeah.
And so they're just around. But with me and my fascination with ducks, there's just something that I get the biggest thrill of just looking at the form of a duck floating on the water.
Yeah.
So if you have a chance to find a zoo or an aviary or a city park that has a bridge, stand on it.
Or in England, we've got lots of waterways.
Exactly.
Yeah, here.
If you have a chance to watch a duck float as you're looking overhead, there's just something about that perfect form.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's just a duck. How wonderful and awesome is that? So I love ducks, and I also
hail to the ducks. Yes.
That's it exactly.
Oh, that's so lovely. I've got to say, I am a big duck fan as well. We've got our Captain Quack Sparrow here.
Yeah.
He's just such a gorgeous, and I think they've just got such personalities, and they're also just so calm and loving. And there's something just, a lot of people, one of the biggest phobias we have in it is birds, believe it or not.
Okay.
But there's something just not non-bird-like about them, but something just slightly more relatable to humans, maybe.
I have a few pet ducks at home.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, surprise.
And one of them that I had, his name was Captain Brown, even though he was a pure white duck. Don't ask me why. Ask me why later. It's a very long story why a white duck was called Captain Brown.
Right.
But he was super friendly, and he would come up to you. He would eat out of your hands. He was very easy to pick up, which a lot of birds do not like to be handled.
Correct, yeah.
And a primary reason is feathers, which cover them, are their lifeline.
Yeah.
And so if we're touching their feathers that they took hours to take care of every single day,
you always see
that's a big
grooming.
disturbance to them.
Yeah.
But Captain Brown, notwithstanding, was fine with being handled. And so I would pick him up, and we would have guests over, family, friends, whoever might be coming over. And this fear of birds is so present.
Yeah, it
and
really is.
he was a bigger duck, and so a larger bird.
Yeah.
For some reason, induced a little bit of fear. So I would faithfully pick up Captain Brown and bring him to people and allow them to touch him. And their first comment was always, "I never thought a duck would be so soft."
Yeah, they're silky soft,
They're
aren't they?
super soft,
Yeah,
and it was just
they
a little
are.
bit of breaking the ice with this fear of birds. I mean, I admire and respect people who understand that birds need to be left alone, they need to be properly cared for, so I'm fine with that side, but to be afraid of them, I feel like is a step too far.
Absolutely.
We need to understand
Well,
what they are, how they live, what they have in common with us, how we can coexist together peacefully without this fear that is unnecessary.
I think we always say fear is just because you don't know. You're just scared of things you don't know about. And actually, that's why I think, us teaming up with you coming to work here is such a good fit, because that's exactly what we do here.
Yeah.
We're just trying to let people know you don't have to be scared of these animals. Look how incredible they are.
Yeah.
And just trying to, if we can get people to stop being scared of animals, you're more likely to love them, and then you're more likely to protect and look after them in whatever form that may take.
And I think, Donna, that ties in very much with my passion.
Yeah.
You can ask, what is my passion? And yes, we could say ducks full stop. Yes, we could say that. And it's true. But actually, if we go a little deeper, I already talked about my two boys saying duck as their first word, and wow, what a moment of pride that was for me as the father. But actually, what I think I have a deeper passion for than just saying I like ducks is I really enjoy helping people to enjoy what I enjoy, to develop a passion for what I have a passion for. And so what I'm passionate about is to help people understand what's all around us. The ducks. Let's just start with ducks. They're all around us. You can't live very long here and not see a duck somewhere on some body of water. And so to understand about the ducks and not just say, hey, it's a duck, let's feed some bread to it. That's terrible for their health. And so to educate
the
people,
ecosystem.
It's just dreadful. But people want to feed the ducks because they want to identify with them. They want to have some connection with them.
And it is really the best fun feeding an animal, unfortunately.
What is more fun than that? But to feed them the right things that benefit the duck's health, that's where I feel like my passion is, to educate people so that we don't, live in the world of fear, that we're afraid of the animals, and we also don't overstep our bounds with the animals, pets or wild alike, and behave with them, treat them, care for them in a way that isn't proper for the health and the welfare of these animals. So to educate people really is my passion. So when I found Get to Know Animals, I just felt it was a match that was just made in heaven.
Yeah.
That it was meant to be. I found a group of people here that were already taking care of so many animals and with a mission that was like, wow, I found my people.
And do you remember when I first, you actually kindly emailed in your CV, and I remember phoning you and saying, right, I love everything you stand for and everything you've done, but you're just way too overqualified for us. What can we do about this? Because I just as well got that connection that there is something here. I think it was obvious we were just on exactly the same page, and like, how can we make it work?
Yeah.
And I think, as a sanctuary, but obviously, we are a rescue sanctuary, but we do operate under a zoo licence because we are open to the public. So, and rightfully so, part of our licensing is that we must be doing some type of conservation. And I think I very much saw, because I know you can do bat studies and all sorts of other, we're in the middle of Epping Forest, where better to do that. And I just think, where we're just so focused on keeping alive what we have here, but I feel like with the collaboration with you, we can outreach so much more, because also your passion lies in education as well. You've done quite a lot of school groups, haven't you?
Yeah.
And teaching.
I don't know if our audience can tell, but I wasn't born in this country.
No, where are you from?
I was actually from America.
You're
Can you
joking.
believe that? I'm from Kansas, to be specific. So if you haven't met somebody from Kansas, come on over and you can meet a real live Kansan.
Nathan frequently has my Dorothy Toto jokes.
Oh, that's it. As does everyone else I know. It's a common thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had a lot of experience in America teaching thousands and thousands of school children, university students, elderly people, and I enjoy the work that I did in America as a wildlife biologist. I enjoy the ecological work that I do, but really I enjoy educating people and allowing them to interact with the things that I enjoy. And so I have lived in this country for over 12 years now, and I have barely been in the realm of nature education and animal education and such.
Which is what we live and
Which
breathe
is what
here.
this is Get to Know
Yeah,
Animals.
and we've been desperate. Me and Rob does an incredible job, but he does all the home schooling classes, and obviously we always have like schools coming into us, or we've sort of, we do some school outreach, but we're trying to kind of just be based here now. But we've been desperate to, and actually I think I'm right in saying we have got one of the best educational policies across the zoo world. We were told by our inspectors that, but we can always do more. And I think because we are so small, our best form of conservation would be via education, basically. So we're really excited to sort of kind of establish that we're very good at education, but to be able to grow that side of things, I think you'll be very instrumental in that, and that's going to be amazing.
And I think we have this thing, when we hear the word conservation, we immediately think of a different geography than where we live.
Yeah,
we
you
think
do.
Immediately
I go straight to rhinos.
Exactly. I go straight to Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
And you think about the tropical environments that are under threat.
Or gorillas.
Exactly so. Or you think of the work that a zoo does in the big animals, or their breeding programs that are connected to international societies. And these are all amazing works that we need to help support. But actually, that doesn't touch the lives of most of us who don't live in these places or don't work for a large institution like a zoo.
And a lot of it is kind of unreachable as well, no matter how big you are. But we can be helping harvest mice
right here,
or the bats, or the hedgehogs, or so many of our vital domestic species.
Exactly so.
That we all know and love, and unfortunately people are going to grow up without if we don't.
And even we have the opportunity right here, right now, with all of us, to be educated and have shifts in our mindset and our knowledge base about the animals abroad and local, where we can actually collectively effect change. That doesn't just depend on the big names and the big institutions and the abroad, the international efforts, but we can do that here and now. And I feel like this is such an approachable way to handle this word conservation, So I'm happy to join the team here, and I'm happy to bring you all into this realm. So hopefully
fantastic.
we do great work together.
So I think there is a lot to watch this space on coming up. We've got some incredible plans which we will be announcing in due course. So thank you so much, Nathan.
You're very welcome.
Pleasure having you, and we look forward to future missions.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, he's a good boy, our Nathan, isn't he?
What a guy, he certainly is.
Totally quackers.
Oh, God. But, yes, no, his enthusiasm is infectious, I would say the least.
It is, and I love his positivity, and got some incredible ideas for our education and conservation and some ecology studies. So, exciting time. So, thanks, Nath, and we can't wait to work with you a bit more. So, Bobbage, it is now the end of the night. The time has come.
How sad.
To say adieu and farewell.
Or yes, or just good night.
Or good night.
Good night, my little
But
Zooligans.
what if they're listening in the morning?
Well,
Then have a nice day.
Hey.
Missing you already. Sorry about my American, Nathan.
Don't make me get the hose now, you hear?
Oh dear. Let's quickly end this before we lose followers. All 3 of them. So everyone, don't forget to give your pets an extra big therapeutic hug from all of us.
Yes.
And thank you so much for tuning in. If you did enjoy listening to this, please like and share. It really, you don't understand how much it helps us to just share or like or comment on these posts. It is part of the support you can show to keep our animals aliving and thriving, as I always say.
Yeah, and tell us what you want to hear more of.
Yes, please do.
We are here to deliver your whims on that
Yeah,
respect.
so otherwise we'll just keep waffling on about all sorts of stuff.
We've got loads of stuff to talk about, but it might not be of any interest. So
let us know.
Tell us what you're interested in.
What do you want to hear?
What do you want?
And
what do you want?
What do you want? And then, we will answer any questions, and we can't wait to get episode 4 out. Rob, you don't know this yet, but I bought some equipment. I'm going to try and film it and go live. Not live, but like actually on screen. Rob's looking at me like I've just asked him the square root of something.
You do realise that my face is strictly for radio, don't you? I said this.
Don't worry.
Sure I said this episode 1.
We've got AI on it. Well, no, we can't, because we're real.
Yeah.
So no, we're just going to have to get your hair cut. Your hair looks good at the minute.
Yeah.
Anyway, we might be on the big screen soon. So watch this space. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And thank you for all of your invaluable support. Without you, there is no us. Have a lovely day.
Goodbye, my little Zooligans.